The Pit. Jamie, before I brought it up, did you hear about The Pit? Because I just recently learned about it, and it's blowing my mind.
I had seen like memes of it. I think people were so like into it. There are a million medical dramas, right? But there's something about this that just seems a little bit different that people are excited about. So I've seen like clips, I've seen like bits and pieces that people seem to be really excited about. But tell me what hooked you?
So I was sick this past week, and so I was like, at home on the couch for hours on end, and so I figured, let me just start watching stuff. Let me get to actual shows and movies I've been wanting to watch, and I have not had the time to. So I saw something about The Pit getting really good reviews, and I was like, oh, and I'm watching random shows too, and so some of that are not so good, but I'm happy I'm just watching them. But I decided, medical drama. I hear it's good stuff. I hear it's pretty realistic. Let me just pop it on. Each episode's about an hour, and maybe the first 10-15 minutes, I was like, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be into this, because they get really into the nitty gritty of like medical procedure, and it takes place in an ER, an emergency room in Pittsburgh, and eventually, like, I just got hooked by the characters, by the scene, by the setting. Basically, it's an HBO medical drama. It's very popular right now, especially among those in the healthcare industry, because it's being described as the most accurate medical drama of all time, with like compelling depictions of the medical practices. The story it follows the daily lives of healthcare professionals in a Pittsburgh hospital referred to as the Pit. And as employees juggle personal crises, workplace politics, and the emotional toll of treating critical patients, it reveals the resiliency required for this noble calling. And it's so interesting, because I wasn't a big fan of the ER. Some people have said this is like an ER reboot. So much so that there's actually a lawsuit going on, but that's a whole different discussion going on. Yeah, but it's really gripping. Like a lot of the medical jargon is going straight over my head, but you're following the story, you're following the emotion of all these characters, and you're getting really invested very quickly. And one thing that really actually got me more invested in this is, again, the medical community. They're talking about this. I'm not sure if you know about this doctor on YouTube, Dr. Mike, very popular. He has like 13 million subscribers, and he reacts to a lot of like movies or TV shows like medical emergencies, and he says, oh, this is realistic, or this would never happen, or he kind of dissects things, pun intended. And he's been going through like each episode, like episode 1, 2, 3, and like he's describing, like he's watching it, he's describing things as he's watching the episode, and he's like calling things left and right, or like they would do this in this situation, and then they do it, or he uses this jargon, and then they use it, and vice versa. So it seems very accurate, and it seems like the medical industry really appreciates it, and I love how this is formatted, because this is I believe a 13-episode season, and each episode is 1 hour of one shift, one day shift in the ER. So it begins like at 7 a.m., and so that's the first episode, 7 to 8, and then 8 to 9 is the second, and so on and so on. And so it's one continuous day of crazy emergencies in the emergency room. People get brought in with a gunshot wound, with a nail gun to their head or heart, or somebody burned their hand, and there are things that are so minimal to obviously like emergency room level life and death situations. It's a very gripping show. Basically, what I'm trying to say. If you, like myself, are not into medical dramas, I thought I wasn't into it. This one, I think, would be worth your time and would get you hooked into that. So I recommend The Pit. And
you could probably learn something too by watching it. That sounds really, really cool. I hate watching medical shows where it's just overly dramatic, and it's completely inaccurate, and I can't really get into it. So that's good to hear about The Pit.